It's week 10 in the NFL season. Can you believe it? We are already there. Double-digit week. And the Kansas City Chiefs coming off a wild, frustrating, ultimately satisfying 20-17 win over the Tennessee Titans. Chiefs moves to 6-2. Well, they play another AFC South team at home this upcoming week, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who beat the Las Vegas Raiders 27-20 after trailing 17-0. Jacksonville has struggled this year, 3-6. However, snapped a 5-game losing streak at the hands of the Silver and Black. So, the Jags coming into Kansas City with a little bit of life, yet the odds makers believe the Chiefs are clearly the better team. I think that is somewhat apparent that Kansas City probably has a little bit of a better shot this year to make some noise in January than Jacksonville. The Chiefs laying 10 points. So for the second straight week, Kansas City is a double-digit favorite at home. So what do you need to know about the Jacksonville Jaguars? Well, what you need to know is this is a team that has some offensive weaponry. So Travis Etienne is the main guy you need to know about. He is a second-year running back, missed all of his rookie year with an injury. He has been very impressive running the ball, 680 yards on the season. And in his last 5 games, both rushing and receiving combined, he's had at least 100 yards in each of the past 5. So he's rolling pretty good right now. He has 3 runs this year of 48 yards or more, so he can certainly break off a big one as well. And if the Chiefs are going to win this game, Etienne has to be the main focus. It's not to say Jacksonville has nobody else. We'll get to those guys in a minute. But Etienne is the player that Jacksonville likes to feature in the offense. Now, not a huge weapon in the passing game. Only has 19 catches this year for 174 yards, no touchdowns. So he's not an Austin Eckler. Okay, he's not that kind of an Alvin Kamara, if you will. He can catch the ball here and there. He's got decent hands, but the damage he'll do is on the ground. I mentioned over the last 5 games, each of those 100-yard efforts or better. On the ground, 71 yards on 10 carries, 86 yards on 10 carries, 114 yards on 14 carries with a touchdown, 156 yards and a touchdown on 24 carries, and then against the Raiders, 109 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, albeit 3.9 yards in attempts. So somewhat bottled up, and yet still a very nice game. Etienne is going to be the player that Steve Spagnuolo circles on a whiteboard throughout the week and says, this is the guy. If the Chiefs can stop him, they are in very good shape. Jacksonville does have some other weapons. Let's talk about them right now. Let's start with Trevor Lawrence, second-year quarterback. He's thrown for a little over 2,000 yards, 6.7 yards an attempt. If you watch Jacksonville, it is very much a dink-and-dunk offense. That's the way the Jaguars play with Lawrence under center. 11 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's only been sacked 12 times. The ball comes out very quickly. So who did he throw to? Well, again, the running backs are not really a huge part of the passing attack. So you kind of put them to the side for a minute. Christian Kirk having a really nice year, on pace for over 1,000 yards. 43 catches, 574 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Kirk has been the leader of the pack for the Jacksonville Jaguars in every way. Most receptions, most yards, most touchdowns, most explosive plays, and most first downs, and not surprisingly, most yards after the catch. So, Kirk, who got a huge eyebrow-raising deal this offseason, he's the guy you're going to want to watch when Lawrence drops back and throws the ball. Outside of him, it's kind of an ensemble, a collection of lesser parts. The Jags have 3 guys who all range between 310 and 350 receiving yards. We'll start with Zay Jones. He has 349, only 8.9 yards per reception. So not a big deep ball threat, only 1 touchdown on the year. Very much a possession receiver. Evan Ingram, the tight end, 338 yards and a touchdown. He has been adequate. And then after him, Marvin Jones Jr., 27 catches, 313 yards and a touchdown. So really, Etienne and Kirk are the 2 guys you really need to watch if you're Kansas City. Etienne especially. And then, yes, Kirk can beat you if you're not careful. I think the Chiefs match up pretty well in the secondary with Jacksonville's weapons. I do not think this is a game the Chiefs have to go to a ton of zone. They should be able to play man. They should be okay. I don't think this is something where it's impossible to stop Jacksonville's offensive attack. Kirk is a guy who will line up in the slot a lot. You see L'Jarius Sneed there. Again, I think it's a pretty favorable matchup for Kansas City. Kirk will get his, but I don't think he goes nuts. And if you look at Kirk's game logs, by the way, this year, so 574 yards overall. He eclipsed 100 yards opening day at 117 yards. Since then, he's not done it once. And he's only gone over 80 yards one time. It was in a loss to the Giants, 7 catches, 96 yards. So, Kirk is consistent, but he doesn't usually go off. He's not a guy who's going to have 150 yards, not unless you give him a career day. So, keep all that in mind for Jacksonville. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Jacksonville's a team, don't get a ton of pressure. Okay, so Dwayne Smoot is one of the more underrated DEs in the league. He has 5 sacks. Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick, has 2.5. And Josh Allen has 3. That's pretty much it. Okay, because I just reeled off, how many sacks? 10.5? Well, Jacksonville is 16 for the year as a team. Jacksonville is not a group that's going to get after you a ton. It is a group that, by and large, is going to have to rely on some situational defense. Good at the second level. So Olakun came over from Atlanta as a free agent pickup. Olakun's been very good alongside Devin Lloyd, the rookie first-round linebacker out of Utah. He's been great. Lloyd's been arguably the best defensive rookie in the league this year. 69 tackles, 2 picks, 7 passes defensed. Not bad. You will sign up for that rookie or veteran all day, any day. And Olakun, by the way, is 88 tackles, 7 tackles for loss. So very good at the second level. Now, where do the Jags struggle? Well, they struggle in a few places. So they're not great up front. Walker, again, number 1 overall pick, certainly flashes a lot of potential, but he's not there yet. He's not a star player yet. Ray Robertson Harris, a good player, gets some penetration, not a great player, but a quality rotational player. If Jacksonville can't get home, it's also a secondary you can go after. Look, Rayshon Jenkins and Andre Sisco, the safeties, okay, not terrible by any means, but certainly not a group you're terrified of. Tyson Campbell and Shaquille Griffin at corner. Griffin coming over from Seattle, the big pickup there, a 3-year contract. Griffin is good. Campbell is solid. Look, the Jags, we'll give them this. They have 8 picks on the year, so they can pick you off here and there. Something to watch out for. Ultimately, if you're the Chiefs, I think this game really does come down to curtailing Travis Etienne when the Chiefs are on defense, making sure Christian Kirk doesn't get loose all that often, force Jacksonville to go to some other weapons. And then finally, yes, when the Chiefs have the ball, look, this is one of these things. Stay on schedule. Don't make huge mistakes. Obviously, that's something against Tennessee the Chiefs did not do. They made a critical error with a turnover in their own end. Only ended up being 3 points. Chiefs defense held on that interception by Mahomes. And there were too many penalties for the Chiefs against Tennessee. If the Chiefs clean that up, I think they are fine. Jacksonville is a plucky team with some upside. I like the youth on the roster, but ultimately not a team that you look at and you're overwhelmed by.